Yes. I didn't say it, no. My mom was a stay-at-home mom until we went on strike, and I was a teenager. Then she went out and got a job. Private school, see how you can afford it. And house payment still. So pay for it. Dad had a car. Yep. For the longest time, we only had one car. My dad would take that to work.
Hi, folks. Hi, folks. My name's Kevin. I'm going to be your car host for the day. I'm going to explain a little bit of what's going to happen here in the next few minutes. In a few minutes, you're going to hear the safety message come on over your head. Once your safety message comes on, please stay in your seats until we're completely underway. Once we're completely underway, the bad news is you had a long ways to walk to 1862. The good news is that's the concession car. All right? So once the train's completely underway, you're welcome to get out, go to the concession car, move wherever you'd like to go. We're going to go up to Biglerville. It'll be about 45 minutes up there and 45 minutes back. We're going to stop up there on the other end. You're going to watch the engine crew go from this engine, walk down the side of the car to that engine down there. It pulls back exactly the same way we came. We have an engine on each end. Now this is a narrated trip. You're welcome to ask questions of me or anybody else. Talk amongst yourselves quietly. All we ask is please be courteous of the people beside you so they can hear the narration. All right. Also, the most important thing is the restrooms.
Yes.
At least it is to me. And they are located right here. Restroom is right. Oops. I get interference. I can't go too close. Restroom is right here. If the handle doesn't move, that means it's locked. If it moves, it's not locked. You're welcome to go in. Just pull it real hard. It opens up that way. All right. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Are you a singing host?
I'm not. I'm not. Trust me, you don't want that.
So long. So long, okay. You said 10 or 12 miles?
I don't know. Give me
Good. There used to be steam engines here.
I'm sorry?
There used to be steam engines here.
Yeah.
I'm pretending there is.
Yeah, well, we might get one in the future. We don't know yet.
1278.
Yeah.
We're gonna follow it to Biglerville.
Yep, that we are.
1278 departed at 12 p.m.
Yeah, well, we hope you get off at 12 p.m. We hope.
Yeah.
Here's the safety message, folks.
Again, welcome aboard the Gettysburg Railway. We want your trip to be enjoyable, informative, and safe. Please sit back and relax while I review our safety guidelines and general information. Keep the aisles and area around your seat clear so that other passengers may safely pass through the car. Please do not stand in the aisles. Watch your footing as you walk through the train, especially between the cars. Please wear your shoes at all times, and if they have laces, please keep them tied. Please keep your feet off the seats to help preserve these historic rail cars. Children under the age of 13 must be accompanied by an adult 18 years of age or older when walking through the train. And no running, please. There are restrooms located in all our rail cars. Please ask your car host for directions. The Gettysburg Railway is a smoke-free and electronic cigarette-free environment. This includes the depot, train, and boarding areas at both ends of the line. Your attention to these guidelines and your cooperation with our safety crew will ensure that your trip will be memorable and safe.
There we go. Now we're off to follow 1278.
Okay, folks, we're underway. You're welcome to get up, move around.
We're getting ready to follow 1278.
Yep.
.1278's headed for Biglerville.
We won't quite make it to Biglerville. We'll be close. We're going to stop just this side of Biglerville.
Yeah. 1278 will follow us back.
Welcome to one of the most historic communities in the United States. Today's trip will take you from downtown Gettysburg, deep into the heart of Adams County, Pennsylvania. We will travel through open farm pastures and dense woodlots, across ancient creeks and streams, eventually reaching the bountiful apple orchards at the foot of the South Mountain. While this town is best known for the Civil War battle that took place here in 1863 and Abraham Lincoln's famous Gettysburg Address, there is a deeper history to this land. A story that goes beyond the battle.
Folks, I promise it gets more scenic than this.
This unit is being renumbered to 1786, a number of special significance, as it is the year Gettysburg was founded.
There's the engine house. There's where the steam engines. There's another station. There's where the steam locomotives go by Gettysburg College.
In the decades between the Revolution and the American Civil War, Adams County established itself as a center for commerce, culture, and political activity. Agriculture and carriage making dominated its economy, while new educational institutions broadened the county's cultural horizons. Gettysburg College, then called Pennsylvania College, was founded in 1832. In the area where now riding through, it is still a renowned institution that is intertwined with the history of Gettysburg.
All set with this? Garbage?
Yeah.
building's coming up on my left. It's going to be where our train lives, and it is a very haunted building. This is all battlefield that we're on right now.
This is where the diesel locomotives are in this engine house. This is where the diesel locomotives are.
Sorry?
This is where the diesel locomotives are.
Yes.
Back there is steam.
Yep.
One of the steam locomotives.
Other locomotive is actually in there being worked on right now.
Yep.
Sorry, folks, we're taking my 6 on a 7 trip this weekend. Taking advantage while I can.
There's Gettysburg College.
Yes, it is.
That's where the steam locomotives go
The
by.
area of our current location.
That's where the
You'll
steam
find the railroad
locomotives.
canal.
That's where
In
the steam
July
locomotives go by.
1863, the Western Maryland Railroad connected Gettysburg to the east, and an unfinished extension paralleled Chambersburg Pike, now US 30, on the west side of town. Although rails had not yet been laid, the roadbed was finished, including a series of 3 cuts through the north-south ridges. On the afternoon of July 1st, these served as protection to Confederate units advancing on the field, but became a fatal trap which hindered mobility and the ability to return fire when Union troops attacked the cut. The railroad was completed after the war and is still in daily use today. The remains of a Union soldier were discovered in 1997. We know that this unknown soldier was killed up at the top of this ridge on July 1st, 1863. But his remains were not discovered for 130 years. In 1997, he was disinterred and reburied at the Soldiers' National Cemetery in Gettysburg, with full military honors, including the traditional 21-gun salute.
That's all.
I'm gonna switch seats with Yoshi.
By the summer of 1863, the Civil War had been raging for over 2 years. Following a series of decisive victories in Virginia, General Robert E. Lee and his Confederate Army marched north through the Shenandoah Valley into Maryland and Pennsylvania. The primary
Here's where
goal
the
of the
train
invasion
goes.
was to bring the war into Northern territory. If Lee could win a major battle in Pennsylvania,
There's more
he
train
could threaten the
tracks.
U.S. Capitol in Washington and possibly force a negotiated surrender with Lincoln. By June of 1863, Lee's army
There's
had
train
spread
tracks
out
right there.
across south-central Pennsylvania,
There they are.
gathering much-needed supplies and provisions. General George Meade, the new commander of the Union Army, followed Lee into Pennsylvania and positioned his army in defense of Washington.
There's a train track back there.
By late June, the two generals were drawn toward each other by a series of roads, all of which converged at the town of Gettysburg. We're now entering the area of the Eternal Peace Flag Memorial. Dedicated in 1938 on the 75th anniversary of the battle, President Franklin D. Roosevelt spoke to a massive crowd, including many aging Civil War veterans. Atop the monument, a flame burns 24 hours every day in honor of the lasting peace between North and South. We're now riding by the Confederate cannons of Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Henry Carter's battery. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the deafening sounds of artillery fire, heard by Gettysburg civilians as they sheltered in their homes awaiting the end of the battle. There were more than 600 cannons in use during the Battle of Gettysburg. And during the bombardment before Pickett's charge on July 3rd, 200 cannons were firing at the same time.
Folks, those 200 cannons he's talking about, they can be heard as far away as Philadelphia. It sounded like distant thunder, but 130 miles away, they could actually hear those cannons.
During this era, rail passenger coaches were often named after inns, reflecting the historical practice of travelers using inns for lodging. This tradition likely started with early coach designs inspired by stagecoaches, creating a sense of community among passengers. The GETR 1862, formerly the Elmira Inn, built in 1949 by the Bud Company for the Pennsylvania Railroad's fleet of streamliners in the fleet of modernism as a 21-roomette sleeper named Elmira Inn. Converted in 1963 as a separate to the Penn Central and then New Jersey Transit. The car was retired in 1989 and sold to the United Railroad Historical Society. Ringlink purchased it for use on the Blue Train in 1991. The car was used exclusively by the Torrey's family globe of steel riders, as these performers rode 8 motorcycles in a steel sphere for Ringlink. Purchased by Paxrail in 2017, the car was renamed the Elmira Inn. The GETR 1863, formerly the Coatesville Inn, a 1949 Bud-built railroad passenger car. Built in 1949 by the Bud Company for the Pennsylvania Railroad as the Coatesville Inn. The car was acquired in 1992 by Ringlink for the Blue Unit, acquired in 2017 by Paxrail. The GETR 1864, formerly the Cedartown, a 1955 Bud-built railroad passenger car. This was originally Seaboard Airline 55 Cedartown. Bud built in 1955, it eventually found its way to Autotrain before arriving on RBBB's roster in 1982. Paxrail purchased the car in 2017, renamed it Cedartown. The GETR 1865, formerly the Duke University, a 1950 Bud-built railroad passenger car. Much like the 2 former in-series ex-Pennsylvania Railroad Bud-built passenger cars in our fleet, the former Duke University was built as a 10-roomette, 6 double-bedroom sleeper for the Norfolk and Western Railway, run in a series that were all named for online schools, such as Virginia Military Institute, Roanoke College, University of Cincinnati, and Ohio State University. After the market for overnight sleeper rail shrank in the 1950s, the N&W sold that car and others to the PRR. PRR owned a controlling interest in N&W at the time, for conversion to coaches for the 1964-1965 New York World's Fair traffic, just like our other 2 former in-series cars.
Folks, in case you didn't catch, at one time this car belonged to Ringling Brothers. And if you remember in the circus, for those of you old enough to remember what a circus is, used to have the big steel globe that the motorcycles would go round and round and round inside it. This was their car. This is where they lived.
Over time, the people of Gettysburg worked to establish a better transportation network. Public funds were used to build roads, and private companies created turnpikes. And like many other areas of the country, there were even attempts to construct a canal. To the south, the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad was chartered in 1827, with tracks laid the following year. By 1831, plans were developed to run a railroad through this area, linking the industrial centers along the Susquehanna River with Gettysburg, and extending the line southwest into Maryland to connect with the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal and the B&O Railroad. However, attempts to build this new Pennsylvania Railroad were abandoned, leaving an unfinished railroad bed and deep cuts in the landscape west of Gettysburg. After many challenges, a railroad from the east finally arrived in Gettysburg in 1858, just 5 years before the battle. However, the unfinished railroad cut west of town remained for many years and became a notable feature associated with the Battle of Gettysburg. In the 1880s, the Western Maryland Railroad was extended south into Maryland. At the same time, a new line was built from Mount Holly Springs south to Gettysburg. On March 4, 1884, the 18-mile Gettysburg and Harrisburg Railroad that you are now riding on was completed, marked by the driving of 2 golden spikes into the tracks at Oak Ridge, very close to where we are now traveling. One spike was inscribed with 1863, and the other with 1883, the year standardized time was established in the United States and Canada. The first passenger train on this track ran on April 21st, 1884, pulled by a steam locomotive called South Mountain. South Mountain is the northern extension of the famous Blue Ridge Mountain Range in Tennessee, Virginia, and Maryland. The range extends about 70 miles from the Potomac River to Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. During the French and Indian War, the mountain provided protection for area settlers against enemy raids and incursions from the west. And during the Civil War, it served a critical role in disguising the movements of the invading Confederate forces.
Liking it so far?
Yeah.
All right.
For the early settlers, life on the frontier during colonial times was a harsh existence. During the French and Indian War, many settlements were raided by enemy forces, and dozens of civilians were killed or carried off as captives. Local men formed militia units and marched into western Pennsylvania together with British forces, and eventually the threat was eliminated with the capture of Fort Duquesne at present-day Pittsburgh in 1758. One of the local heroes of the French and Indian War was Colonel Hans Hamilton, an early settler who at one time owned much of the land in the area we're riding through now. 20 years later, men from this area once again rallied to defend their homes and villages, this time serving in the Continental Army against the British during the American Revolution. Today, cemeteries and churchyards across Adams County are filled with the graves of these revolutionary patriots.
That's a princess. All right.
Would you like something?
I'm sorry?
No, good. Thank you, though. Thanks for the offer. Actually, the 2.5 months we've been running it, you have to have a pretzel. I never had one yet.
How my family got out of the service.
We are now approaching Benewville, or Biglerville Road, modern-day Route 34, leading north out of Gettysburg. This is one of the 10 major roads that converge at Gettysburg. On July 1st, 1863, about 7,000 men of Confederate General Robert Rhodes' division passed here on their way to join the battle.
Folks, all these horses on my right, this is a horse farm. All these horses are what pull all the carriages in downtown Gettysburg. They pull all the carriages.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a big farm. All off the side, yeah. All the way up to Biglerville Road.
I didn't know Gettysburg had the carriages.
Yeah, several of them. Yep. Some do downtown Gettysburg and others do the surrounding area. I don't think any of them do the battlefields. That's not carriages. You can take horseback rides, but there's one that comes out, comes up part of it. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. That goes big. But these horses are not the ones that go on rides. They're not that horses. Now, I got a question for you. So, have you let's put Oh, I'd love to do a horse
getting close to one of the original stops on the 1884 Gettysburg and Harrisburg Railroad, Goldenville. The Goldenville Road, which we are now crossing, dates to 1747 and is one of the oldest roads in the area. George Washington traveled this road in 1794, and in the area we're now riding through, a Civil War skirmish took place on June 26, 1863, between the 26th Pennsylvania Emergency Regiment and Confederate troops under the command of General Jubal Early. Let's go back in time to 1794. The federal government had imposed a new tax on whiskey to reduce the national debt. Farmers in western Pennsylvania, who made and sold whiskey in large quantities, felt the tax unfairly targeted them. In 1794, tensions escalated into violence when protesters attacked tax collectors and government officials. President George Washington responded by sending federal troops to suppress the rebellion, demonstrating the federal government's authority to enforce its laws. In October 1794, President Washington himself passed through Adams County on his way home after putting an end to the rebellion. He is said to have spent the night at Joshua Russell's Tavern, in the area we're riding through now. Washington was the first of our nation's presidents to visit the area, but not the last, largely due to its popularity as the site of one of the largest battles in American history. 25 presidents have visited Gettysburg since Washington. Much of the route of the Gettysburg and Harrisburg Railroad line passed through undeveloped farmland. Several stops were just platforms set up next to farm lanes, providing locals with an opportunity to deliver their goods to a larger market. One of these stops was Table Rock Station, which we will pass momentarily. Native Americans inhabited Pennsylvania for more than 10,000 years prior to the arrival of Europeans. In the absence of preserved written records, much of what we know about their existence comes from the items they left behind. Over the years, thousands of artifacts have been discovered in Adams County, mostly near creeks where camps and villages existed long ago. These indigenous peoples developed unique cultures, provided for their families, and built complex communities that thrived for centuries. Over time, Native Americans created more permanent settlements along rivers like the Susquehanna, leaving this area mostly unpopulated by the time Europeans arrived.
Creek.
We are now passing over Conewago Creek, an Iroquois term meaning at the place of the rapids. Waterways like this one, running through the northern and eastern portions of Adams County, flow into the Susquehanna River and the Chesapeake Bay. In the south and west, streams make their way to the Monocacy River and eventually to the Potomac. These ancient waterways were vital to the lives of both Native Americans and the Europeans who came after them.
Folks, we're almost to the point where we're going to go the other direction. Got about 2-3 minutes. We're going to stop up here. Again, you watch the engine crew go from this engine, walk along the side here to that engine down there, to do a safety check that pulls back exactly the same way we came. So you get to see the same trees from a different angle.
need your attention for a very important safety announcement. The train is about to stop. If you are currently standing in one of the cars, please be seated. If you are walking through the train, we ask that you take your seat and secure any loose items, as items may shift while we stop.
Folks, if you look on my right, up on the hill, generally we see a lot of deer in this area. I don't know if there have been any today, but this is where we see a lot of deer. Yeah, we see all the time here. I can't ever guarantee they'll be here.
Sorry?
1278 departing Bedwardville.
Yeah, well, pretty soon, about 5 minutes we will.
1278 will follow us.
Yep.
In the years after the American Civil War, Adams County's commercial fruit industry soared. One of the local pioneers of this effort was Noah Shealy, who first introduced his Adams County apples to the nation at Chicago's 1893 World's Fair. Here he sold 1,500 barrels of apples at $1.50 each, more than $50 each in today's money. His unexpected success sparked the birth of the Adams County fruit industry, and many of his once skeptical neighbors followed his lead and planted their own commercial orchards. Using the new Gettysburg and Harrisburg Railroad, local fruit growers can now transport their goods to large urban markets far outside the region. In 1903, local families and businesses formed the Fruit Growers Association of Adams County. And in 1920, Adams County ranked first in apple production statewide, a distinction that continues to this day. In fact, 70% of all Pennsylvania apples come from Adams County's 20,000 acres of fruit trees, and the county is 6th in the nation for apple production. Beginning in the 1960s and 1970s, Haitian and Puerto Rican migrant laborers maintained Adams County's abundant orchards. In the 1980s, the workforce shifted to a predominantly Mexican community, which was less transitory and is now an integral part of Adams County life. These men and women have become the backbone of our prosperous fruit industry.
I'll tell that story on the way back.
Today, there are upwards of 35 varieties of apples produced by local orchards, making this area the heart of Pennsylvania Apple County and home to the National Apple Harvest Festival. This event takes place every year during the first 2 weekends in October. Held at the South Mountain Fairgrounds since 1965, the festival celebrates the harvest season and features over 300 arts and crafts vendors. Apples are available in all shapes, sizes, and forms, from homemade applesauce, apple pies, apple dumplings, and apple pancakes, to apple cider, apple slushies, apple milkshakes, caramel apples, and even apple fries. The festival is run by hundreds of volunteers, and all proceeds are donated to local, regional, and national charities.
number one up in the car up there is a whole band bathroom. You want to use one right over there. Okay.
There's just something.
Oh, well, there you go.
Good timing, but
Yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome.
And they never bring it back.
Nope. You'll lose it right on the spot and you'll never get it back. All right.
Alright, 1278 is going to follow us back to Gettysburg. 1278 is right behind us.
Oh, it's like an airplane. Oh, right. I'm going, oh. I bought a box of Costco, so I just called the company that I bought one for the government. Oh, good. And they disappeared already. They like to run the pretzel next to it.
Stay alert. Along our route, you may encounter some of the abundant wildlife of Adams County. White-tailed deer, fox, and wild turkey are common sights along.
Are you waiting on the bathroom? There's another one up front. It's a family one up there. Up in the
Not
front up there.
outside.
No. Well, it could be if you want to hang outside. That's up to you. But no, it's right up there. Yeah, that's fine. Take your time.
I
Yep.
need your attention for a very important safety.
That's the right one. That's the right message.
I need everyone's attention for a very important safety announcement. The train is about to move. If you are currently standing in one of the cars, please be seated. If you are walking through the train, please use the nearest handrail for support. In the event of an emergency, Gettysburg Railway staff will provide information using the PA system. Car hosts will guide all activities within your individual rail car. Again, the train is about to move. Please be seated. If you are walking through the train, please use the nearest handrail for support. After the train has begun to move, you may walk through the train to visit our concession car.
Great. Like that.
Stay alert. Along our route, you may encounter some of the abundant wildlife of Adams County. White-tailed deer, fox, and wild turkey are common sights along our route. And keep your eyes out for the occasional black bear that makes its way down from the South Mountain. The woodlands and streams we are passing are filled with amphibians and reptiles. Snakes are commonly seen near the tracks, including the venomous copperhead and timber rattler, alongside the more common black rat snake, which can grow to a length of 6 to 8 feet.
1278's following us.
Yeah. No, we're good. So, next week, any blank. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, we're good. Thank you. Yep.
We're being followed by 1278.
you know that? Hall of Fame pitcher Eddie Plank was born and raised near Gettysburg. After pitching for Gettysburg College, the Philadelphia Athletics recruited Plank in 1901, and he played in the major leagues until 1917. Eddie became one of the most dominant left-handed pitchers of all time, with 326 wins and 2,246 strikeouts. A member of 3 World Championship teams, he was considered the most valuable player of the 1913 World Series. After retiring, Plank returned to Gettysburg, where he died in 1926. He was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame 20 years later.
Followed by a steam locomotive. There's 1278 smoke.
He is but a poor American who, looking at this field, does not feel within himself a deeper reverence for the nation's past. Theodore Roosevelt.
My favorite president. My favorite racing president.
These venerable men crowding here to this famous field have set us a great example of devotion and utter sacrifice. But their task is done. Their day is turned into evening. They look to us to perfect what they established. Woodrow Wilson. Immortal deeds and immortal words have created here at Gettysburg a shrine to American patriotism. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
I hear the Southern Pacific 6-chime whistle.
Gettysburg has attracted visitors ever since the Great Battle took place here. Tourism surged with the arrival of the railroad in 1884, but gradually declined after passenger rail service ended in the 1940s. That changed in the 1960s, when the centennial of the Civil War sparked renewed national interest. In July 1963, Gettysburg marked the battle's 100th anniversary, drawing large crowds once again and ushering in a new era of tourism that continues to this day. Today, Gettysburg is home to more than 8,600 residents. While it shares many qualities with other small towns, tourism remains a major industry. Gettysburg National Military Park spans over 6,000 acres and includes the Soldiers National Cemetery and a large visitor center. The town and surrounding area offer a wide array of hotels, restaurants, and attractions to welcome the millions of visitors who come each year.
Yeah, you got this morning the sun was over here, now you got it over here this afternoon. So.
Yeah.
We're being followed by 1278.
I'm sorry?
We're being followed by a steam locomotive.
I hope not. I don't know. I don't think so.
1278 is
Yeah.
following us back to Gettysburg.
Yeah. Say last steam engine on here was 1996 when it exploded.
Join us this coming year as we commemorate the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding during the semi-quincentennial of the American Revolution. And to explore more of the exciting history of Gettysburg, we encourage you to visit Beyond the Battle Museum, located just 1 mile north of the town square. We hope you enjoyed learning about the history of our rail cars and the early days of Gettysburg and the surrounding areas. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we head back to the station.
Not there anymore.
Read up in the big thing, 1976. Parade and everything. Excuse me.
Folks, somebody come down through the garbage bag. If any garbage to throw out, please throw it in the back. Let's assume I can get the soup thing open. They are tough. Yep, there we go. There we go. There you go. Folks, I'm going to start with you guys. How'd you hear about us?
Actually, my son.
How'd you hear about us?
It went well.
Say it again?
It went good.
Oh, okay. How'd you hear about the train?
It went good.
Okay.
He loves trains.
I can tell that, yeah.
He knows everything about trains, and I guess because he follows the steam train old videos and stuff whenever this opened up, he got notifications.
We've been going to Strasburg Railroad since we were 2.
Right.
We've taken there like 3 times. I just took it yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw Thomas there.
And he just loves trains. Just watching YouTube videos. And
All right. Well, glad you came along. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
1278 is still following us.
Hi. About you. How'd you hear about us? I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it around. Yeah, I seen it in town when we went to Gettysburg. And then I looked it up online.
Thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I also wanted to ask you, how'd you hear about us? Story. Yeah. Most people say Facebook. Yeah, that's what it's. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along.
6 chime of 1278.
Hi folks, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the plans we got for this our railroad here in the next coming year. Now the only dates I can tell you are here in December. The first 2 Thursdays in December and every Friday up until Christmas is going to be a holiday train. Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be on board. I'll be doing "'Twas a Night Before Christmas" poem, which I am not any good at, just so you know. But we'll be doing gifts for children, things like that on board. That's all I can tell you as far as the exact dates. Now, everything else I'm going to tell you is all for next year. I can't give you the dates, you just have to check the website. We're going to have murder mystery trains. We're also going to be having Confederates rob the train. And these tables and chairs all come out. We can put dinner tables right down through the middle, and we're going to have dinner trains. But again, all I can tell you is check the website. I don't have any dates or any information to give you other than that. All right? Also, please go on our website. Please tell us what you like about the train. Please tell us what you don't like about the train. And also, please give us any ideas you've got of what you'd like to see us do in the future. Thank you very much.
I'll tell the story here in a few minutes.
Hey folks, I'm going to know you one more time. I'm going to tell you a little story here about the aftermath of the Battle of Gettysburg. I know this story because my boss, I used to work in one of the museums downtown, and my boss back in the 90s was a chief curator at the visitor center here in Gettysburg. In 1996, there was a heavy thunderstorm that washed out part of the railroad cut. You know what the railroad cut was? It basically was a trench that the Confederates were down in on the first day's battlefield. Now some people were walking up the railroad cut after this big rainstorm, and they saw some bones sticking out of the wall. They called the Park Service. Park Service came over. Now, Park Service is always finding bones. They're finding cow bones and deer bones, things like that. Well, these ended up being human remains. They got a little nervous. So they called up the local coroner. The local coroner came out, took a look at the bones, says, "No, you're good. These were not put here last night. They've been here quite a while." That's when they called my boss in. My boss started looking, and he saw some buttons off a Confederate uniform from a Mississippi regiment. So he knew this guy was from Mississippi. I'm sorry, I don't remember the regiment's number. I don't remember, I'm sorry. Well, my boss started looking at the bones a little closer, and they figured out this guy was left-handed. You can tell that because your dominant arm bones are bigger than your non-dominant arm bones. So if you know anything about your Civil War, you know you cannot fire a Civil War weapon left-handed. You fire the gun, powder and smoke comes out here. You fire it this way, smoke comes right back into your face. You cannot throw firing a Civil War weapon left-handed. Well, also being left-handed in the Civil War is pretty unique. And so they went back to this regimental history and found out 2 guys in this regiment were left-handed. One survived the war, the other was killed in the Battle of Gettysburg. 130 years later, they figured out the guy's name, his hometown, they dug him up, shipped him back home, and buried him with full military honors 130 years later.
survivors or the wounded. I'm going to have a trivia question for you on the way back. So far, I've had 4 people know it. One was actually on the last train, and one of the other ones who knew it was actually a town guide. So we'll see. I'm surprised the last train knew it. What do you think? Okay.
While they were down. Yeah. Why do these guys get together? Flew down.
Hey folks, for your Civil War people, we're back to the Bruce Days battlefield. On my right was the Union 1st Corps. On my left was the Union 11th Corps. They came together at this barn down here. This is where the 2 corps came together. After they got beat that first day, the Union retreated. You'll see that water tower, that blue water tower. That's East Cemetery Hill. That's as far as they retreated. It was all the way back there through the middle of town.
Littered the fields north and west of Gettysburg. Nearly every farm in close proximity to Gettysburg had been devastated by the fighting, including the house and barn owned by Moses McLean, a local attorney and politician. Crops were destroyed, houses and barns became makeshift hospitals, and fields were used as mass graveyards. Although the northern dead were removed to the Soldiers' National Cemetery months after the battle, the southern bodies remained for many years before being transported south. Undoubtedly, the remains of hundreds of soldiers are still buried in the fields surrounding the town. Within weeks of the battle, a massive tent hospital was established next to the railroad east of town. And it was by train that most of the wounded were eventually transported to larger hospitals in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Harrisburg. In the 3 days of battle, more than 50,000 men were killed, wounded, captured, or missing, making Gettysburg the bloodiest battle of the American Civil War.
Hey folks, you just talked about the aftermath battle of Gettysburg and all the wounded. I've got a little trivia question here for you. Now, I'm not talking about food, I'm not talking about water, I'm not talking about ammunition, I'm not talking about shoes. Everybody answers the word shoes, and it's not what I'm looking for. After the battle, what was one of the hardest things to find in the Gettysburg area?
There goes 1278.
You have several of them in your house. Anybody got any guesses? Say it again? No, not bathrooms.
We'll catch you there, 1278.
Say it again? No, I'm not talking about food, clothing, anything like that. The answer is doors. Doors. Because they took the doors off the hinges, put them on sawhorses, made surgical tables out of them.
There she goes.
So if you, odds are, if you find a door in Gettysburg, it's not an original.
4 months after the Battle of Gettysburg, Abraham Lincoln traveled by rail from Washington, D.C. to Gettysburg for the dedication of the new Soldiers' National Cemetery. As part of the ceremony on November 19, 1863, he was asked to make a few appropriate remarks. Using just 10 sentences and 272 words, he delivered one of the greatest speeches in American history. As we return to the Gettysburg station, take a moment to listen to Abraham Lincoln's message of hope for the future of our nation.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate. We cannot consecrate. We cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, but this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Hey folks, I'd like to thank you all for coming along to Gettysburg Railway. Hope you had a good time. If you had a good time, my name's Kevin. If you didn't have a good time, my name's Steve.
I saw 1278 back there.
Okay. This is when you know the ride's coming to an end when I put this on. Thank you all for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is when you know the ride's coming to an end when I put this on. That's how you know.
Yeah, it's good. 1278. We finally caught up to it.
Folks, last time I'm going to annoy you. Sorry to bug you again, but we're almost back to the station. I need you all to please stay in your seats until the train is completely stopped. You're going to exit out this end of the car, and please don't try to exit the car until I come back and tell you everything's safe. All right? Thank you.
We got followed by a steam locomotive.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. There's 1278 again.
I need your attention for a very important safety announcement. The train is about to stop. If you are currently standing in one of the cars, please be seated. If you are walking through the train, we ask that you take your seat and secure any loose items, as items may shift while we stop. Thank you for exploring beautiful Adams County, Pennsylvania on today's excursion. We hope to see you again soon.